You live your life for them, and they don't even see you. You don't even see yourself. We don't get a lot of things to really care about.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Burns Reviews. My name is John, and today we're talking about the very unexpected, very different, very unique movie called Pig, starring Nicolas Cage, directed by Michael Sarnoski. If you're new to the channel, and if you want early reviews just like this, if you want end explain videos just like this, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really does help a lot, and without any further ado, let's get into it. Pig. Now, the movie Pig was completely unexpected to me. I thought this movie was going to be an action revenge movie, kind of like John Wick. That is not the case at all. This is a family drama, and it's with that saying, oh, by the way, spoilers. It's with that saying that this movie is entirely about loss. I want to talk about the ending, though, because I think it's a little bit open to interpretation, and I want to know what you guys think of what happened after the credits rolled. Be sure to comment down below, because I think people are going to have different opinions about how this movie wraps up. So, getting into the themes of this movie is all about love, loss, and grief, right? Everybody in this movie, and by that I mean the three main characters, Nicolas Cage, Alex Wolff, Arkin, they've all been in love with somebody, or they all had love for somebody, and they lost someone. You know, Nicolas Cage and Arkin both lost their wives in one way or another. Alex Wolff lost his mom in one way or another, and Nicolas Cage, of course, loses his pig. And the story is about how you're on a hero's journey, and you think it's all about you, but you go on your journey and you realize that there's people out there that you might perceive as being the bad guy or whoever, and they're in the same boat as you.
Everybody's got dead people.
Like Arkin is really not that different than Nicolas Cage. Yeah, he's kind of a prick. You know, he torpedoes his son's business out of spite, which makes no sense. There's that scene where he says, like,
Were you always like this? Or was it just after she died? Were you?
and that's the whole theme of the story. You know, there's that line in that movie that says, we don't get a lot of things to really care about. And I think all these characters have lost what they cared about the most, whether it be a pig, a mother, a wife, and because they never really dealt with that problem, it really kind of made them put up some walls and be a little icy around the edges. But let's talk about that ending. They go to a diner, him and Alex Wolff, they go to a diner, they have dessert, he's thinking his pig is dead, and instead of going home with Asmir, the character that Alex Wolff plays, he decides that he's going to walk home. And he walks all the way back to his cabin, and he goes to like the stream, and he's taking off his gloves, and he's washing his hands. He walks past the window, he walks into his cabin, he sits down, a light shines on from above, credits. Oh, and he does listen to the tape that was given to him from his wife. I'm going to give you a hot take. I think he died. I think that he had reached his point of resolution. He had completed the hero's journey. Like, he lost his wife. There's lots of stories out there, like when people lose the one they care about the most. Johnny Cash is a good example. 6 months later, the other half, they usually pass away too. So, let's look at this scene a little bit closer, right? He goes and he washes his hands. And I think this is kind of like, it kind of felt like something religious, like a baptism, like a cleansing, if you will, you know? Only, instead of a baptism, more of like a last rites, you know? He's cleansing himself, you know? Because he's done with the journey. Then he's walking past the cabin, and we are now looking through the windows and seeing him come in. But as we look through those windows, we can't help but be reminded of his wife, Lori, because earlier in the movie, they were talking about how the bakery used to be a restaurant, but then she turned it into a bakery because, you know, essentially she was a baker. But the big takeaway from that scene was that there were no curtains on those windows, right? So, because Lori didn't like curtains on the windows, so that's why there were no curtains. And it's the same reason why there's no curtains on his cabin. It's all about his wife, Lori. And we're just thinking about that wife that he lost. He goes inside. He finally puts on that tape that he couldn't listen to earlier in the movie. You know, it's a real Guardians of the Galaxy type of deal. He's got that cassette tape from like 1998 or God knows when. He puts it in, he listens to his wife, he can finally do that. He sits down, he looks up, and even though he's inside of a cabin, light shines down on his face. And you can argue that it's a light from something that he had. Maybe he had like a light bulb hanging there, or maybe there was a hole, or who knows what. But in my opinion, all of these little touches, to me, feels like he's going home. If nothing else, the character of Robin Fuller has found peace, or felt. Is it felt? He's found peace, and, you know, he could be just ready to go. You know, he went out into the world, he saw people from his past, you know, the woman at the bakery, he mentored Asmir and helped that guy a little bit, he helped the Adam Arkin character. You know, he got out there, he broke his own shell a little bit, and kind of exposed himself, and kind of just brought it all back together. And that's why I think that he probably just passed on after that. In a director's statement, Michael Sarnoski said, "Truffle hunters will camp out on their porches at night, shotgun in hand, to fend off competing hunters trying to steal their valuable pigs and dogs." What? This was one of those facts that felt otherworldly yet immediately relatable to me. And that's where Pig started. It got me imagining what sort of person would be so attached to their truffle pig that this would be a quest worth following. Then came the image of a tattered old man alone in the woods with only his pig. Where did he come from? Then his world and history started to unfold around him, and Pig began to take shape. And as the story grew, something from my own life inevitably crept its way in. My dad passed away when I was a kid, and I remember how that threw me into a state of feeling like the world was a dream I was going to wake up from. Everything felt a little like I was watching it from outside myself, and it was hard to fully commit to the reality of the world and other people. I expected the feeling to go away one day, but as I got older, I found it doesn't naturally go away. You just get used to it and integrate it into your worldview. Different people integrate grief into their world in different ways, and it shapes how they see themselves and the people around them. I saw this with my own immediate family, how loss had trickled into everyone's life in various ways, and how after many years those ways had just become our disparate realities. Not the immediate effects of grief, but the long-term perception-defining aspects that weave into our lives and the bedrock of our consciousnesses. How that can make us build walls around ourselves and separate us from others, even others that are going through the same thing in their own ways. So that all became something I want to explore through a story about a pig. Michael Sarnoski. But what did you think? Do you think that he's out there? I mean, part of me wishes that he just, like, him and the kid, Asmir, I wish they had, like, started a new business. You know, they just told the dad to go fly a kite, and, like, they just worked together, because they kind of need each other a little bit, don't you think? Like, that's my opinion, but the only reason I don't say that is because he didn't take the ride home from Asmir. He told him, "I'm gonna go walk." If they had ended the movie with him driving all the way up to, like, his front door or what have you, and then he said, "I'll see you on Thursday," I would have believed, like, okay, they're gonna go into business together, they're gonna turn over that leaf, they're gonna rebuild. But because he said that, it almost felt like when he said, "I'll see you on Thursday," that it felt a little bit more like, this is goodbye, and I don't want you to follow me, I don't want you to be concerned, I just want you to know that I'm leaving, and this is goodbye, and don't follow me. You know, like, he pushed him off and made him believe that he was okay, but I don't think he was. I think he was time to move on, and I think that's what happened. But what did you think? Be sure to comment down below. I would love your opinion. And guys, we're almost at 5K, so give this video a thumbs up and a like and subscribe, ring that bell, all that fun stuff. Thank you so much. Until next time, guys, we got tons of videos just like this. I've been John. You've been Burned here on Burns Reviews, and we will see you next time.